welcome back to part two of the Karat Podcast. I thought it would be one, we've gone to two, so this is part two. So Lee is still joining me here, of course, and we just lost track of time, didn't we?
Talking too much.
I know, yeah, and too much impressions, too much deep dives, too much article readings, too much crime, and I don't know what can one do.
What can you do?
So where were we? Yeah, we were talking about the TV show Kim. Going to a deep dive there. We had just left off about the final episode of Kim, which was the last season, of course, and about Eamon Cunningham. I was just saying that Eamon Cunningham, I thought his character could have, been in season two. I think having him in season two and have that kind of more, kind of tension between the two families, would have worked. You know what I mean? Because now with him gone, who are they going to go after?
I think it's the Spanish cartel he was with. I think Peter came out and said, if we get a season two, they're going to go into, this cartel's going to come after the Kinston. I think the Kinston brought like 50 million worth of.
It was 50 million,
something like that. So it's so I'd say, do you know what? I'd say to go back on what we were saying back in part one. I think we're going to get a lot more action.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. If you're talking cartels, you're talking, they have connections everywhere. It's just we have a bounty, like kind of like what Eamon Cunningham be. I'm a bounty, like $1 million or whatever on such and such head. So like if you're gonna say this cartel, anyone, if they say 2 million or whatever for the heads of the Kinslers, it's like
one head of the Kinslers.
Anyone. It's just like anyone with a gun. It's like going after them.
I thought in that last episode when Amanda goes up to Eamon and makes a deal, and I was just thought, like, she is just so badass, you know what I mean? She's not afraid of him. And, she goes up and she makes a deal and goes, right, here we go. Like, again, spoiler alert. But, you sit there and you're kind of going, holy fuck, where's this going to go? Do you know what I mean? And everyone played that part so well, I thought, you know what I mean? And the storylines was so well, and again, the season two, no doubt in my mind that there will be a season two, 100%. People can, it's a five talented writer, there's 5 talented crew, and 5 talented actors all playing their parts. And I'm 100% looking for season two, because I think season one, it's kind of, they're going to give you the base of the story, who's who, and all the kind of ins and outs and all that stuff. So now we know who everyone is and everyone's kind of role in the family is. Season two, I would put my money on would be 100%, this season.
100%. Yeah, I think everyone played that part well. I do. I think, but there's also room for more as well.
Oh, there is.
100%. I think we're definitely going to see character moments in the second season. It's leading up to it. This season, but we're definitely going to see a lot more in the second season, 100%, especially with the younger cast, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah, as well, who plays Michael's daughter. Yeah. I thought she was very good. In that last episode, they were trying to kidnap her, or second last episode, but I thought she was, really good, played her part really well. Yeah. As this kind of lost child almost, you know what I mean, and didn't know really who her dad was, and you kind of have sympathy for Michael. Do you know what I mean? Because you kind of go, God, I kind of feel sorry for this guy because he's trying to put everything right, but then again, it's the family, do you know what I mean? And he is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
100%. I think, as I said, you get an experienced cast mix with newbies coming in. So, not newbies, I'm going to be a prick. But
a newer face, fresh face character.
Exactly. So it's just, I think there's a lot more to come on, if that makes sense. I think there's definitely a lot more to, obviously every actor, experience a lot, there's definitely more to improve on, but I think, as you said, second season is going to be a big season.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that will turn out, quite frankly. I think it will be an explosive season if they're going to be going potentially at war with a cartel in Spain. Liam Neeson might drop in or two, you know what I mean? That'd be deadly, only just him coming out and over. He's back again. But absolutely, and people kind of, we both actually gave him a shout out, obviously, and texted him privately and said, "Look, fair play to you. I'm all looking for an audition, and I just want to." There's one going, but absolutely, listen, 100% really enjoyable season. And I think RTE, kind of going back to knowing what actually worked in the first place. We had Love Hate roughly about 10 years ago when it came out, and they knew that worked. To bring Kin out is risky because
it's a different world
does
now.
does lightning strike twice? That's the question, and I think it has in this one. You know what I mean? And obviously it's an AMC production, which is based in America, but absolutely, I think something has worked here. It's going to continue to work, and I think viewers or fans who watch the show, and again, we mentioned earlier on the start of the podcast was people saying, "Oh my God, this is real life," and crime, it's on the streets. Yes, I know you turn every newspaper every day, and you'll see someone like that in the newspaper.
A teenager getting shot or whatever.
Exactly. But unfortunately, these things do happen, and this is real life.
And you can't shy away from it.
No, you can't.
You can't. It's kind of like parents and kids. You know what I mean? It's like you can't shelter them from what's happening. Like in adventure, at one point, it's gonna happen. They're gonna see it, and unless you do it properly, it's gonna hit them all at once, and they're just gonna have a panic attack. They don't know what to do. And then when you see people nowadays, it's like, oh, crime. It's not that bad. It's like you said, any newspaper you look at it, it happens every day. Not every day, but it happens most days. And the fact that we're seeing it now in a different light, as I said, it's no longer bubble jackets and tracksuits. It's now big houses, nice cars, all sorts. It's like it happens anywhere. So it's just, it's definitely something I think Peter did right. It's a new change.
Absolutely.
I think it's fresh.
And I you've hit the nail on the head now, because obviously the background is the Afifa Stadium. And we know the Afifa Stadium is in D4, which is considered a posh area, of course. But yeah, you're right. I mean, where 20, 30 years ago, the gangland, Ireland, and put it that way, was in the streets of the lower class areas or the kind of really run down areas. Now we've seen this kind of, as you said, posh cars, fancy suits. You walk past these people in the streets and you don't know.
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. I think Peter has done a very good job in coming across that.
100%.
This is people who speak very nicely, and and we're not, wearing, as you said, the puffer jackets.
And then you see Amanda send Anthony to a private school, a posh school in the country.
They didn't even know.
They didn't even know. So it's things like that. Like you wouldn't see that in the likes of Love Hate. You wouldn't see it. Like I think if you remember in Love Hate, when Elmo was being chased by, I think it was Nage, he was just in someone's shed, and he was in his father-in-law's shed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just compared to that, to sending your kid to a private school worth hundreds. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's so different, but it's the same scenario. Do you know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
It's the same kind of fit. They're all in the same kind of area, on the same boat, put it that way, but from different two backgrounds. And you can see that, but we see Nage, he's playing the part very well, and he's driving a big fancy car, and you're going, we know what you're doing. But then you see a man, he's lovely suit,
car dealerships.
Speaks really well for
what's going on,
intelligence, and you can see her on the street and kind of go, won't think much of that, Well, I want to go into this kind of angle, because you did mention about a change when it comes to a female kind of playing a role like this. And I think Peter McKenna, once again, has probably picked the right choice in having Amanda. Normally when you think of a cartel, you see it in a movie or TV show, it's the male that's running it.
Smoking a cigar, sitting back, sunglasses on, all sorts.
It's the man that runs it. And then we have a female doing it. It works. Like, there's no running away from it.
It's not in your face. Like, again, as I said, it's very. If you play it right, it's good. And in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, this could be forced." Is this because there's parts of the scene. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a few scenes that. And when you see reviews of it afterwards, a lot of people are saying this is just ticking boxes. Of course it's this, of course it's that. But nowadays, but it's like you can understand all that. But then when you have it, as I said, if it's done properly, it's a build-up. It's not here she is, she's the leader now. Get used to it. There's a build-up and there's reasons why. She's lost her son and she's not just going to sit back and you see it in the first few episodes. She's like, what the fuck are we going to do? You go to this pub, shoot quail on more, and then unfortunately you kicked off the war essentially with the Kinsells and the Cunninghams, but it's just like of course she did that, and then you see her kind of build up, like she's questioning what Frank is doing, like what are you doing? She's questioning it. It's not like I'm the woman now, I'm making all the rules. It's and you can relate to not relate, but you can actually agree with her. Like I'd be kind of like, come on Frank, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like come on, do something.
She's not in the background.
Like with Maria, Birdie, her character, I think it was portrayed well. I think Birdie, as much as she's kind of in the background a little bit, were her scenes, you know, when she's in the car park with Eamon Cunningham, or when she's in the house, you know, when she's defending Amanda. Although the two of them don't get on, when Viking says, "Oh, Amanda's a crazy bitch," or whatever, you see, smacks him straight away. You know, I'm like, there you go, that's Birdie. Like, you know, she doesn't look much of a threat. You know, you can walk past her on the street, as you said. She doesn't look much of a threat, but you know, she's done horrible things. You can kind of tell, like, she's held a gun. She's probably killed people herself, but it's not in your face. It's building up to something. So maybe we will see that more in the second season.
She came across to me as very Polly from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That kind of, oh, you're the woman. What you got? Oh shit, you've got a gun now.
I actually know how to use it. Yeah.
She has an edge, and she could really defend herself if she needs to. Do you know what I mean? She's not afraid of going to Eamon Cunningham in the car park and kind of stand up.
And then she said, you know, give me the gun, I'll show you yourself. Go on,
You know what I mean? But very family dinner, I would say, on Christmas. But but like I said, you know, everyone done a fantastic job. I really did enjoy the fourth season, and I look forward to seeing the second season. I do think that, you know, obviously there's a lot of gaps need to be filled. I think there's
100%.
a lot of, like, for instance, the Michael and his wife, girlfriend,
strange wife, and that.
Yeah, the mother.
So what happened there?
And this kind of alleged affair between Amanda and Michael. You know, please explain to me where is this coming from, because there was, again, spoiler, where the son isn't actually, you know, Jimmy's. It's actually Michael's, and you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yes.
And then they just kind of gloss over it.
And you're kind of like, what the fuck? Hang on a minute.
Did I just hear that? So there's a lot of gaps to be filled, and a lot of things to be put. You know, I'm looking forward to the second season, and you know, absolutely, Bill McKenna, Claire Dunn, rising star. Looking forward to seeing more what she can do, and everyone else. So bravo to everyone involved in Ken. Moving on a little bit quickly on this, obviously James Bond was another thing we discussed.
We did,
behind the scenes. But let's get into James Bond, because the most recent movie, of course, just came out there recently, No Time to Die. And this is Daniel Craig's last ever Bond role.
You wouldn't think it'd be, you know, you wouldn't see, like, I don't picture myself seeing that day at all. You kind of think Daniel Craig is James Bond, you know, just...
You kind of,
what's going on?
You kind of go accustomed to him now. See, I grew up watching Pierce Brosnan, and Pierce Brosnan was an inspiration of mine as an actor. Do you know what I mean? To watch, and when I watched GoldenEye, he was phenomenal, GoldenEye. And I remember saying for a long time that Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond novels, I think that's the picture, the embodiment of what Pierce Brosnan, to me, as the actor playing James Bond, is exactly what Ian Fleming would have thought he would have been, like, the kind of real good looking, you know, real kind of charming, but dangerous, slick.
Dangerous,
And then the whole kind of argument about Daniel Craig, you know, 00 Blonde, which came out in the newspaper years ago. No one ever thought he would do it, but he blew it away. Casino Royale, you know what I mean? I thought it was a fucking class movie when he did it, you know what I mean? But the question is now, who is going to take over, and who would you want to take over?
Who do I want? I'm open to
a lot of names.
See, I'm not like as big into James Bond as some people I know, or even yourself. Like, I'm not jumping to see the next film. Obviously, I'm going to be open to it, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of names. You know, Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, all them. You know, I'm kind of leaning on Idris, to be honest. I'm not sure that's how you say his name.
What's the first name again?
Idris
Elba.
Idris.
Yeah.
Something like
Idris
that.
Elba,
Probably butchering that.
Yeah, we apologise if you are watching. If he is watching, subscribe, please.
Yeah, of course he is. But I think he'd be good at it. I think he's in his prime now of, you know, I don't know. Like, it's kind of one of those things. It's a tough one. It's just, I'd hate to be the people trying to cast a James Bond. Like, it's just, you know, just for casual fans, like, who could it be? And you see people getting divided online over, like, oh, I think this person, I think that person. It's like, that shows it's a good fan base. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, these are so passionate about this character, and then, you know, if something's going to happen because to push whatever agenda, you know, it can make or break it. You know, like, and the argument of having a female come in. I know we were talking about, you know, Amanda and all that, and Kane, you know, a female star and everything else, but personally, I think you need to keep James Bond a bloke, it's in the name, but you need to come up with a strong, creative, you know, female character next to him. You know, make it your own. You know, cast whoever, make it their own. You know what I mean? Like you can come up with someone just as good as James Bond, but it's a female. It's like, well, there you go. You don't need to prove a point. You don't need to, you know, do it because it's time to push on a new wave, this, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, let the men take a break. It's like, no, you need to, you can keep it going for the fans as well, the male and female fans, but you need to have someone, you know, just as good, and they can be a female. It doesn't matter, you know. I don't think you can change anything. I think it's just
once become accustomed to that role for such a long time. Like James Bond's been out since 1962. Do you know what I mean? We don't know, and it does go before that now. The first ever casino royale. Yeah, but yeah, like it's not a change. I thought they were going to do it with Money Penny in, I think it was Skyfall, and obviously when the opener, if again you haven't seen Skyfall, spoiler alert, a lot of spoilers in this, I'm sorry. I thought they were going to do a Money Penny. I thought they were going to introduce her as a kind of an equivalent to you know, a separate kind of to James Bond, and then she kind of gets a desk job later on and taking out the field essentially. But I know in this new movie that they've introduced a kind of a new 00, so with this female, and I think with Daniel Craig, he did say, he came out in an interview, said to have that there as well, where you can grow that fan base, and then you can have, who's playing the male version and who's playing the female version. I think it's awesome. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's about, instead of dividing it, it's just like, then we need to do this because it's a changing world, whatever, you know, we need to start doing this to push agendas. It's just, well, you can still have your fan base. It's just, you know, have a fan base for everyone who loves James Bond up until now, and then you come up with this new character who's just as good, and it's like, there you go. It's just yin and yang. It's just sorted. You know?
Yeah, it's happening, and that's it. Like, you know, she could be just as good as when I was 7. He's like, holy shit, she's dead. You know,
but give her scenes. It's not forced.
Yeah, no, I think obviously, I know times have changed, of course, you know, and thankfully so, because you know, I mean, the character of James Bond was once deemed as something else, and his approach to women was disrespectful, they want to put it that way, if that's the way to approach it. So, you know, we see more of him as a kind of a real gentleman, as far as I'm concerned. And the names that was once called for female characters back in the 80s, if anyone watched James Bond, Pussy Galore being one.
Even I thought that was, I was just like, I'm all for having a laugh. Like, I was just like,
Jesus, that was ridiculous.
I was like, is that really the name? Like, I'm going on IMDb, it's like, that is the name. Someone, wow.
I played Pussy Galore in James Bond, you know what I mean? But thankfully that has all changed, because those names are just ridiculous nowadays. But it's still good, you know what I mean? It represents an era, do you know what I mean? So this is a new era. But I know you're obviously mad at James Bond, like I am, but I would like to see Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, or did play Superman. I just think he just passed that look about him.
I think that's why most people are saying to cast him, because he just has a look, because he was in that Guy Ritchie film, I think it's
The Man from Uncle.
It's just like, you know, that's it there. Why can't we just put him in this? And it's like, I don't know, I think he has the look 100%, but I think it's kind of like a typecast, you know what I mean?
It is, I think that's the thing about it, when they kind of broke the mould, when they did it with Daniel Craig. He wasn't the black-haired guy, he was the blonde-haired, blue eyes. And I remember, you know, people saying at the time, hold on, come on, really?
Risk taken.
And they got 5 movies out of him, you know what I mean?
Got plenty out of him,
And I'd say Daniel Craig is a great Bond because the movies that he's been involved in has really pulled the curtain back on who James Bond really is. We've seen
James Bond is.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Skyfall, where we know he grew up.
Yeah.
We know it's an alias name, so you know, even though we all knew that to begin with, it's only an alias name, but we kind of see how it all works when he was killed, and also they thought he was dead, and they just move on to another Bond. But and Sean Bean, for me, I just want to put it out there, Sean Bean, the best Bond film in my opinion. He was live, Sean Bean. But anyway, that's the future for Bond. Yeah, absolutely. There's still some time left here, of course, and we'll talk about a few other things as well if you like.
Speaking of the future,
not Back to the Future, but
Back to the Future. I do have some things in the pipeline. I don't know if I want to just be weird, like, oh, well, I'm actually doing this, but
I'll do it.
Yeah, so to go back to our conversation I think we had just before we started about myself and Mark, not to get into it, I think I brought him up in we were talking about how I got into this and people I've met over the years and all that. But so to go back to our other conversation about the Actors Lab and when we started acting and everything else, myself and my brother, that's when I met Mark, and Mark McKenna Jr., who plays Anthony Kinsella in Kin. He, myself and him have kind of, our friendship is kind of, I guess, I don't know if you'd say we killed it or not, you know, we never fell out, but I think we just kind of lost contact there, as people do over the years, you know, you move on to different things. But no, myself and him, I'm directing a small short film that he wrote himself, and in the next couple of weeks, so can't wait for that. It's called An Everyday Thing.
Mm-hmm.
He, as I said, he wrote it himself, and funny story about all this, so back when we were acting together, you know, we did get on, myself and a few of us, you know, I looking back in hindsight, I think we were kind of the messes of the class.
Yeah.
But that hasn't changed, you know, obviously with Mark, he's in what most people say is the next love hate, but what I like about him is he hasn't changed, you know what I mean? Like he's, you know, we've met up a few times, we've had video calls, you know, he's the same person as I know him from 5-6 years ago. Obviously we lost touch over the years, but you know, coming back into it, it's like, oh, well, this hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I like, it was actually funny, on our first time meeting up, it was just before Kin had released. You know, I kind of said it to him, it was just like, I have no idea how to do this, you know, like we haven't seen each other in years, and it's built up that, you know, he's in the show, he's like, I have no fucking idea how to do this either, so it's just like, well, thank God we're on the same boat here. But so we were chatting away, and so how did this all start? He sent me a text, actually, I think it would have been about 2 months ago, about a month and a half ago, thereabouts. He said, look, I have this film here, it's small, it's nothing serious, can you give it a read and maybe direct it? I was full on, I was just like, yeah, I'll do this, sure. This was just after The Hitman, and so he sent it on to me, and it was funny, it reminded me of some of the scripts I used to write. No hate towards Mark. It wasn't structured properly. It was, you know, it was just character. You know, it was enough that I understood anyway. Yeah, so it was just, you know, a bit of action, character, his monologue, whatever, you move on. And I was glued to the script kind of straight away. It was just, to me, it felt kind of very personal. And I've asked him, but he said it's not. But I don't know. I see a bit of, you know, maybe this is something how he felt X amount of years ago. He's obviously doing well for himself now. But so I was reading the script, and I was like, I like this, you know, like I like it. It's actually good. I'm not just saying it because he's Mark McKenna. I actually like the script, and I said to him, I said, look, we had a video call. I think he wanted to call, or I think he wanted to meet up. He wanted to call. Sorry, I'm getting confused. So we called, and I was talking about the script and everything else, and I said, I like the script. I was like, but with your permission, you know, do you mind if I restructure it, you know, so that it's, you know, just for people who are getting involved in it, if anyone wants to help, you know, that they can understand, you know, because scripts are done in a very specific way. And he said, yeah, do what you want. So I got a copy of the script, I rewrote it in about a week, and I had a few ideas come up, and I was like, I'm going to put them in, but I can easily take them out, you know, and there's nothing in your face. So when we met up for the first time, this was maybe about a month ago, just before Kin released, we were in the pub and we were chatting about it, and I said, well, look, I sent him the scripts kind of the week just before, and he was on email, he emailed me back saying, I'm getting goosebumps reading this. I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing something good. It was just like, I've read this about 4 times now, this is fucking crazy, and he loved it, and I was like, oh, thank God. Do you know what I mean? And so we met up for the first time in person there about a month, as I said, just before King was released, and we were chatting about it, and I said, look, I have this idea. I says, we can easily take it if you don't like it, but I think it'd be funny, I think it'd be just for a laugh. And he said, yeah, go on. So he said, so I have an idea. So one of the ending shot of his film is there's a shot in his film where his character's getting ready to go out for like, you know, a night out or, you know, going to a party or something. So I said, so look, his character, he already had a character in Broken Love. I was going to bring it up earlier on, but we never got a chance to. So
mention it now.
He's in Broken Love. I said to Mark, you know, around the time, like, look, I'll put you in as a mate or whatever, like a friend, you know, unnamed character, whatever. But then as I watched Kane, I was like, I can't do that to him. That's just, you know, I need to give him something, you know, because it's Broken Love has no dialogue. It's a 20. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, what?
Fuck. But rewind. So yeah, Broken Love has no dialogue. It's told all through visuals, you know, lighting, camera.
Okay.
Just the actors being actors, you know, going back to like miming or whatever. So, you know, obviously because there's no dialogue, it's more, you know, what can I give these people, you know? So there has to be subtle ways you can say, okay, time is moving on, time has changed, these are still mates, these are not mates anymore. So there's small things, you know, characters' hairstyles change, you know, his hair gets shorter, his facial hair grows out more, stuff like that. But so I said to Mark, I said to him, I says, well, look, here's my idea. There's a shot in your film where your character is looking himself in the mirror, he's fixing his hair, putting his jacket on. I said, the outfit that you were wearing for that scene, we see your character in Broken Love wear the exact same outfit in whatever house party, out and about, whatever. So it's just a little subtle way of showing that, you know, these two worlds are connected. You know, like this maybe takes place on the day that this happened or whatever. You know, just something small. And he was just like, fucking yeah, that's deadly. He made a joke. He's like, yeah, that's like the fucking Lee Cinematic Universe or something. It's just like, okay, he's good. He's open to this. This is great. You know, and he's having a laugh and you know, he was talking to me about Kane and everything else, and it's just amazing. And I met up with him there recently, I think it was only a few weeks ago, just as the last episode was premiered.
Oh, okay.
It was the night after I uploaded that review of Kane on my story, just after we were talking. And yeah, I met him again and we were just chatting away. Again, nothing's changed about him, you know, he's not, and not to get all deep into it, but you know, when you get someone who is big now, he's getting into
recognised,
you know, he's recognised, you know, and you know, you kind of, I didn't want to come off as, you know, you see people talking all the time, you know, oh, because of a bit of fame, you're hanging off like a bad smell. It's just, I was saying that to him, I was like, I hope I'm not coming off like that. And he says, no, not at all. I even said to him, I said, look, do you mind if I talk about this on the podcast? You know, because again, it's his script, it's not mine. I didn't write this, he did. And, you know, I just want to be respectful, obviously, because, again, it's not my script. But no, like I would quickly consider him one of my closest mates. You know, again, as I said, you know, that friendship hasn't changed at all. You know, we were literally laughing and joking about Actors Lab. You know, because his girlfriend was with us, Megan. Shout out to Megan. And you know, it was just gas, and we were laughing and joking about all these things, telling stories, and it was just like, yeah, nothing's changed. And I'm excited to work with him, and you know, I'm excited to kind of, you know, if this is a one-off thing or if we get to work with each other for years more, you know, I can't wait. And I think, to go back to what we said on Ken, you know, I think we're going to see a lot more of him in the next season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
His character is a lot more. I think we're going to see a Ken still come out with him, do you know what I mean? The gangster side of him, obviously we saw with his brother just before he got shot, you know, he was trying to get into that world and Amanda would stop with him, but I think now maybe I'd say Amanda would be just as more controlling, like, no, you're not getting into this, but we're going to see, as teenagers do,
progression.
Yeah, I'm not going to do what my man is saying, so yeah, I'd say we're definitely going to see that more.
And I hope we see that, because, you know, I mean, it might not be in season 2, but it could be in season 3 or 4, you know.
You never know.
Yeah, and it'd be an evolution of that character kind of coming out, and instead of being that kid just over the corner there, he's going to really kind of come out and show and what he can do. And I hope we say, you know, I mean, like, absolutely, you know, we talked about Ken there in a bit of detail. But, you know, there's another great actor right there, and I hopefully, you know, had a good friend to work with, and in future, chemistry-wise, or just even just sitting there talking about a script, you know, you can hear in your passion in your voice, it, you know, means something to you, you know what I mean? And I don't doubt for 1 second, you know, you work together again, you know what I mean? So it's always good to have a friend who there, you know what I mean, who understands and completely work on future projects with yourself.
And there's a lot of them, you know, as I said to you, off camera before we start this, there's a lot of people that I've met over the years, since I started, 1 or 2 years ago to now. Like, there's people who I've met, and like Keane or Connor or Mark, or even, like, there's people that I'd love to work with them more, I am kind of, like, I wouldn't, like, I'm blessed for this, whatever. I'm happy that I've met these people, and I'm happy to have had all these experiences so far, and I know I'm going to have more in the future, and because there are people, that I have met over the years. Actually, funny enough, for my first shoot, the music video we were talking about, one of the leads in that, Levi Sullivan, he was in a small TV series there for BBC. Just I think it was earlier this year or last year. It's called My Left Nut. I don't know if you've heard it. It's so good. I have to give Levi a shout out for this. It's just so funny.
That's a great fucking name.
It's so good. It's a 3-part mini series about this. It's set in Ireland. I think it's set kind of more up north. I'm not too sure. They had the accent on anyway. But so it's about this young fella who finds out he has a lump on one of his testicles, and he kind of spends the next 2 episodes with his friends, kind of like, he doesn't say anything to anyone yet, obviously, but he's like, there's this kind of subplot of him trying to get with this girl who the two of them obviously have chemistry, but they're both kind of nervous to say anything to each other. And there's a scene with Levi, and he's cutting his grass or whatever, and he's talking about it, and it's just so funny. I was laughing at it. It's just typical thing that your mates would do, like, okay, how do I get this girl to like me? And then your mate's like, right, here's what you do. You don't get butter popcorn, you don't hold her hand for this long, you don't do this, you don't do that. And it's perfect, because it's like, I don't know the director who wrote it, but I was just like, or anyone who wrote it, but I was just like, that is perfect. That's just what your mates would do. It's like, don't do this, don't do that. It's like, but is that not what you should? And then, but what's funny is, I know this isn't really spoiled, but they go to the cinema, to watch whatever film, and that's what the setup for it was. Don't get butter popcorn, don't do this. You see them in a cinema. You see the girl who he's trying to, get a relationship with. She's like, oh, can I get butter? Can I get chocolate? Can I get this? And she's trying to hold his hand. But he's like, shit, what do I do? It's all very a monologue, like, shit, what do I do? Taking the hand away. And it's just like, that is perfect.
Making a big deal about nothing, you know what I mean?
Exactly what it is. And I think it was really good. So, shout out to Levi for that.
Ah, brilliant, absolutely. And I love the name. That name is just brilliant.
I recommend it to anyone. It's so funny.
Is it? Can you watch it like on the BBC?
It's on BBC Player. I think it's on RTE Player as well. You can watch it anywhere. It's I watched it with my parents. I got my mum to watch it, because it's only 3 episodes. And I said, well, look, a guy I know who from this shoot was in it. Do you want to watch it? And she said, yeah. And we were just like, yeah, it's fucking brilliant. You'd think there'd be a season 2, but it's just, I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah, you kind of, it's kind of why you get it's what you get, and then it's don't really for it, because it's just too fucking funny.
And 3 episodes I think was enough. It was just, it got to the point. It didn't, drag on.
And that's the thing, you don't want to become stale, do you know what I mean? It's not kind of a recurring joke. You kind of get 1, 2 and 3, and you kind of go.
There are a few kind of recurring jokes in it, but it pays off, do you know what I mean? It's intentional, there's, I think, his character Levi, has a girlfriend, but no one believes that this girlfriend exists, and then you see her, whatever. I'm not trying to spoil it, but you do see her eventually, and it's just like, oh shit, there you go. It's just hilarious, and it's the end, and it's one of those moments where it's just like everyone's just like, what the fuck? It's just actually weird. Yeah, obviously I want to give a shout out to Baz Black and his team, who are looking for donations for their next film, Dublin Crust. It's about a Dublin band. After 10 years they're coming back together, and it looks really good. They just posted a trailer on their Instagram, I think on Facebook as well, so definitely give that a look and go to their bio and definitely donate. It's the only way independent films can be made, so that's all I can say on that.
So basically, Lee, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we're so glad to have you coming on and talk about it, so much. And of course, it'll be a second episode, of course. This is part 2, but it'll be a second episode. And our next episode, we'll have Sinead Blake, who will be coming on the podcast, talking about her experiences, college and TV skits that she's been involved in, and much, much more. So please follow us on the 18 Karat Podcast Instagram page. And watch us here on the Breakout TV on YouTube. So thank you so much on behalf of myself, Jordan X, and my great guest there, Lee Mc Partlin. Thank you so much, and Godspeed. Thank you very much. I'm Jordan X.